Hello guys and welcome back. So today we are going to talk about when do we turn bullish, and we are going to go through a few posts and let's try to make sense of them and basically read what the people say and think with our own brains. So first of all is this post from Weimar X. So this is insane. This is Bitcoin 2021 cycle overlaid with the current Bitcoin chart, and the overlap is almost perfect. Every week come back expecting the pattern to finally break. It does not. Bitcoin keeps following the same structure, same final pump, same cycle top, same violent rejection, same first major correction, same weak recovery, same setup before the real capitulation. Now look at the numbers. 2021 cycle. So Bitcoin peaked 69k, dropped around 77%, bottom near 15.5k. The bear market lasted more than a year. Current cycle, it peaked at 126k. The first major breakdown has already happened. Every recovery is getting weaker. The structure still points toward 40k, he says. When people are signaling this too much, which they do, I'm a bit skeptic towards this because we have the institutions now and we have a lot of other stuff. So we have to keep going to see what he has to say. But I'm somewhat skeptical towards this. So that is exactly how the previous Bitcoin bear market developed. I'm not saying Bitcoin must repeat 2021, of course, tick for tick. But when two cycle structures track this closely for this long, ignoring it becomes dangerous. Most people will turn bullish after every bounce. They did exactly the same thing in 2022. The real bottom only forms when almost everyone has lost hope. What if we never lose hope? What if we are idiots and we don't lose hope for 10 years? What happens then? That's my questions for today. So leave your answer in the comment section. So what are your thoughts on this? Follow and turn notifications on. So yeah, for me as well, please. So this is basically what he's placing, starting in with October here, I guess. Yeah. And it's perfect. I don't. Let's check it out. I went here and looked at the old cycle. So picture this. This is a 24-hour chart. So he's talking about the weekly chart. And let's zoom in a little bit. So the first peak, the drop, the summer drop, and then going down until I would say this was the bottom in the November. So first week of the November, which now coincides with the midterms again. So does this one look like this? Not really, no, that's something it's impossible here because we had the larger drop here. So he moved the chart a little bit. So those are like field. No, let's go back. But there's this. Let's analyze it a little bit. So we had the drop in from 10 May until when did we get back above this? Let's say 13 weeks until 9th August, 10 May, 9 August, let's say, around that time frame. And here we had this huge drop and the bounce above from 3rd of March until 21st April, so 7 bars. So it's not, basically it's not the same. I mean, you can include this, but it's off, it's too much off. So the drop was here, and he moved it a little bit or something, because no, that's not it. That's basically not it. So, you know, the biggest lesson what I've learned in crypto, it's just don't listen to anyone. Just choose with your own brain what you're doing in crypto. Use your brain. Don't follow anyone 100%. You know, take some opinion, one opinion from here, one from there, but process it. You have to process it through your brain. Otherwise, you will have to lose. Because I've taken so many advices from different people in crypto, from many different influencers, and most of them were bad. Nobody can predict this shit, and especially if they tell you 100% mathematical stuff, like, oh, it's 100% the same, or it's 100% different. So just go with your heart about this, because it's not the same. It's like a drop between the peaks, but this one is much higher and bigger, and the drop here lasts more, and then like further in the summer, and this was an earlier drop. So if this drop was earlier, shouldn't the bottom also be earlier? And we had the, let's say, the top going down here. When we really started going down was in November, and here was October. Yeah, here was basically 10th October marked that. I would say it marked this shit when we started going down. Let's move on to the chart a little bit, and we had the 10th October here. So even if would have been, I mean, it has some similarities. It doesn't have the every week 100% like he says. So it's not the same. It's somewhat the same, but it's not the same. So this means we should have an earlier bottom, which we had it here in the last cycle in 9th of November. We had the, I mean, it's also down here, but the drop started here, so we are in the same spot until January. So we should have it earlier in October, or maybe even September. Depends, because if the next cycle starts earlier, we should, we should keep being earlier and earlier with the cycles, if that makes sense. In my, that's just my opinion, my thinking. So is this, I mean, it would basically be too early, but to have this to have been the bottom, but that's something that nobody would expect, and that's what makes me think it was the bottom. And also we have the institutions in now, and this should make the cycle slightly different, if not a little bit more different. So if it's everything the same, 100% the same as he says, we should have the bottom in 102 days. If it's not the same and it's slightly different, and we will have it in let's say early October, when we have 70 days of accumulation. But if this was the bottom and we are still in the bottom range here, I think if we don't see Bitcoin in early October at that kind of drop, then then we are over with the bottom, because everyone expects the November drop right now, and some are skeptic, but then they go back into the full cycle boat from what I've seen. So I believe, how much earlier would this have been to be the bottom? Let's say 3-4 months before. Will we have a triple bottom here? We might, but I don't see. I simply don't see another big drop. I just don't see it. If you see it, that's your own thing. But we might stay in this range around 60K. But with the institutions in, I don't believe we will have another bottom. And that's my opinion. And also, I'm not currently owning Bitcoin, but I'm checking it because it's the king, and the things that I own are those. So yeah, you've seen them if you watched my previous videos. But basically, it's a cycle. They go all together. It's slightly different cycle, but I'm watching what Bitcoin does, and where the money flows, and they will also flow into those. Also, the doctor went into DCAing. Everyone went into DCAing, so right now is the time to DCA, and even if it goes a little bit more down, the alts won't. And let's see a few posts and how the people are feeling about this, about how is Bitcoin currently doing. And so this one is from Vivek Sen. He say, conspiracy theorists believe the US is rotating from gold into Bitcoin right now. They pumped gold to sell it at high prices, then used the liquidity to quietly stack Bitcoin while keeping the price suppressed. Of course, how many times were the theorists were right? Actually, they were right on a lot of things. So once they've accumulated enough, they will crash gold, shake up the global financial system, and send Bitcoin to the moon. I start to believe this because in the past, what were rumors and conspiracy theories, a lot of times they proved to be right, and that's why they are still here with us, and they will be, because from time to time they are right, and actually quite a lot. But I'm not going to go in other stuff, in other markets, in other problems, because I don't want to be kicked out of the platform. So Coin Bureau says, just in, the Senate has shelved the Clarity Act to take up a Russia sanction bill first, per CoinDesk voting on the crypto bill is now unlikely before the next week, leaving only the final days before August the 8th recess. I don't really know what to say about this. What would be interesting if they would end all the wars and pass the bill at the same time? That would be really bullish. That would be like a real cycle that people would be waiting for, and they waited for in 2025, and it didn't deliver because the alt season wasn't here, and alt market didn't deliver, and now it should deliver something. But we'll have to see about this. So let's go to the next one. Everything is crashing. US stocks US chip stocks crashed overnight. Nvidia fell 4.4, Micron nearly 5, SanDisk more than 10. Now Asia is collapsing too. Japan's Nikkei over 4%. South Korea Kospi 10%. triggering another circuit breaker. Why? You know, why would it will not, you know, the company is gonna still be there. That's just fear mongering right now. So Bitcoin also crashed below 63k. Here is why. China has started producing its own advanced chip making machines, reducing their dependence on ASML and threatening the global chip supply chain. So while everyone is barking at each other and having wars and stuff, China is quietly advancing and doing a lot of stuff, and nobody's noticing. And you know, I think China it's doing a lot, and it's smarter than Russia and US and Iran and everyone else, because they are just quietly improving their stuff, their companies, their technology, and they are not barking at anyone. They are just shutting up and building shit. So let's go to the next one. So since October 10th, following the major liquidation event, spot volumes on SAXs have dropped by 67%. It's pointless to look at futures as it makes us sick. Plus we have the Mika context for Europe, which further limits the volumes. So as of what happened on 10th October, the crypto market and including us have a lot to suffer, of course. You know, I don't really know what to say about this, but yeah, since 10th October, basically 9th of October marked the top on Bitcoin, not on alts though. So something is different, and every time it will be different. Now, how do we make money out of this? That's the question. That's why I'm here and you are here also. And I think, as the doctor said, right now DCAing is your best bet. Now depends what you're DCAing on, and we'll have to see. So Jack the Rippler says, breaking, the full Senate vote on Clarity Act is now expected on the 3rd August. President Trump is prepared to sign the Clarity Act. So is it or is it not? So I mean, you know, they said he's pushing, where was it? Yeah, Coin Bureau said this. So how long does it take to vote this thing? I mean, they just raise their hand and say okay, wait, and send some guys to do the back work after. So it shouldn't take five work days to sign the damn bill. You know, that's just circus if it's true. We'll have to see. Now the thing is, you know, it would be a very interesting, and also about the China stuff. They might do normally technology, but they have to trade it with someone, and US has to have money in order to buy the products, the Chinese products, and everyone else has to have money. And I think crypto is a very interesting and useful way to keep people have liquidity, and the institutions and whales. And China might be the producer, but you know, the buyer also has to have money somehow, because you cannot produce things if you cannot sell them to nobody. And I think the finances will, the powerhouse of the finances will still be the US, maybe Europe to some extent, but you know, and the crash is just some local stuff, so some timed event, some, I don't know how to say it, but you understand what I mean. And yeah, we'll have to see. But the buyer has to have money, even if the Chinese have found a way to mass produce and you know, make a lot of things. They have to have money, and I think US will do something with crypto, and even with Iran and Russia, if they and when they will submit to US. But that's like deep conspiracy territory. Uh, you know, I think they will do something with finances, and they will sort of live in harmony with China. China as the producer, and the rest of the world as the buyer. Most of them, and some countries might have other roles, but US and the West will be the buyer and the tester of products, and we have to have money in order to be that. And yeah, it's a lot to talk about, but that's another subject. So let's see some bullish news now. So altcoins are ready for giga breakout. It could start any moment from now. As I said, I'm expecting rather to have a nice spring. We should have a nice spring soon, and we should see something interesting, I hope. So altcoin market cap, yeah, now it's down. Here was nice, but why did it went up here? Nobody knows. Yeah, spring of 2027. That's an old map. Yeah, that's an old map. We are past July and we are not here. So yeah, I'm still hoping for spring of 2027 to see some nice price action, and maybe even earlier. But yeah, I'm going to keep DCAing right now because that's what I feel like doing, and I think there are very good discounts, especially on my new favorite, which made me 15x, but I didn't sell because I was idiot. No, not this one. This one. So I will keep DCAing. That's my first thing, that I will keep DCAing FetchEye, and I think this one should be very interesting in the future, but for now it's down like everything else. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and see you with the next one, guys.